And to discuss the points raised by the former CGN Olukayode Ariwola, I am now being joined by legal practitioner Douglas Ogbankwa. Thank you so much for your time. Now, what is your perspective on Justice Ariwola's call to reduce the number of cases that reach the Supreme Court? How feasible is this suggestion in the current judicial system?
That's a very good question. Right now, you see, in trying to understand what the retiring Chief Justice of Nigeria is talking about, it's important to understand the spectrum of the Nigerian judiciary. Nigerian judiciary, as it is now constituted, is made up of 37 different state courts, one federal high court, one national industrial court, and each of those states that have state high courts all have magistrate courts and customary courts all together running into thousands of courts. Now, every case that is instituted in any court in Nigeria has a leverage to get to the Supreme Court. As you know, Nigeria has only one Supreme Court, which is the Supreme Court of Nigeria, located in Abuja. That is why right now, if you were to have a case with the Supreme Court now, except it is an electoral matter, that is to say, it is a matter that concerns an election, the earliest date you are likely going to get will be around 2027 or 2028. So the retiring Honorable, the Chief Justice of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Justice Ariwola, actually has raised a very important point that have not been addressed. Now, to answer the second part of your question, that is, how feasible is that as it stands right now? It is actually not feasible because of the way the courts in Nigeria are constituted. Now, it is important for some matters to end at the Court of Appeal. This is because the Court of Appeal has at least about 18 to 17 to 18 judicial divisions. So because of that, you find that cases are more easily decided at the Court of Appeal than at the Supreme Court. Now, another suggestion that has been envisaged by federalists or subsidiary advocates is that each state in Nigeria should have their own Supreme Court. The problem we have with that arrangement is the fact that those Supreme Courts are likely going to go the way of the state independent electoral commissions. You find that elections are not taking place with the Essex system. That is why you realize that the National Assembly is tinkering on amending the Constitution, either that the INEC will conduct local government elections or there will be another body to conduct local government elections in Nigeria that should be a federal body. I want to tell you that in all courts in Nigeria, and I make good to say, that the court that you are likely going to get justice if a state government is involved in a matter is if that court is either a federal high court, a national industrial court, or a court in which the federal government has, that is being controlled by the federal judiciary. The way, recently, the Chief Justice of Nigeria succeeded in the case of Attorney General of the Federation and Attorney General of Abia State and 35 others to ensure that money standing to the credit of the local governments are paid directly to the local government councils.
All right,
now,
sorry to cut
the
you short,
Constitution
Mr. Douglas.
of the Federal
I'm so
Republic
sorry
of
to
Nigeria,
cut you
as
short.
per Section 1213.
Mr. Douglas, sorry to cut you short, but briefly, do you think introducing stricter guidelines on which cases can be appealed to the Supreme Court could help reduce the burden on the court?
Absolutely. That would actually help reducing the burden on the court. For example, before around 2015, I think, around that period, all state governors' matters and all matter that concerns the gubernatorial election, that's the government election, and all matters that concerns senatorial elections and election into the assembly ended at the Court of Appeal. There was an amendment to the Constitution that now led to those matters now being heard by the Supreme Court. It is important for us to go to that period so that all matters that concerns elections other than elections into the office of the president or the vice president should only be determined by the Supreme Court. Now, I noticed that when those matters...
for your time. Legal practitioner Douglas Ogbankwa, thank you so much for your time and thank you for lending in your thoughts.